Hello, good evening and welcome to the Little Farmer's Farm with me, Guru Murphinda, aka Tony. Now on today's episode we're going to be preparing two 6x4 beds, reinvigorating them, well, weeding them, reinvigorating them, flattening them off, getting them ready to receive onions for overwintering, sensu onions, Japanese onions, and also garlic, which I'm not sure what the variety is because it's shop bought. 35p for a bulb, and we get 9 out of each. In fact, 10 cloves out of each, so it's 3.5p per bulb. Fingers crossed when it comes through next year. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you at the end. Alright, boys and girls, onions and garlic, enjoy. Welcome back. I've just had a coffee with Mick. In fact, I'm just finishing it off now. He's just got off because he's going to see Shirley before she goes to work. So we're going to assess the situation with the garlic. Now this is the shop bought garlic. I don't know what variety it is, but it's shop bought white garlic. There it is, Exhibit A. So we'll see what we've got. I'm going to break these apart, check out the cloves that are inside the bulbs, and see how many we can plant up. Alright. So from that first one, there's 9. Now, there were a few more. In fact, there was 12 altogether of the cloves. There's an extra 3 there. But, yeah, I'm going to go for that. In fact, I'm going to go for 8. Maybe. No, I'll go for that. We'll go for the 9. So we'll see what else is inside these other ones. And take it from there. Just pull the top off. Remove a bit of the paper off the outside of it so I can get into them and get at them. There we go. Move them out of the way. We can see what we've got. We're trying to favour the bigger bulbs because when they split down, they'll split down into sort of a similar size. You need the frosty weather, you need the cold to get the split on your cloves. And over the next couple of months, January, February, we're going to get that, and into March. Riveting TV, isn't it? But this is what we've got to do, guys. Just, as I say, just shop bought this. It's actually shop bought from the Asda. We did it last year, and we got some good results. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 again. So if that runs to form, we should have 54 cloves. So let's go and see. Right, so there we've got 54. 6 sets of 9, 54. And they're just ready for planting in the ground now, which is what we're going to be doing. A good thumb's depth. But I think I'll be using something like that to get them in. You want them to be about 1 inch below ground level at this time of year, and then the shoots will come up. The roots, you want to get the roots established below ground, not particularly the shoots coming up so soon, but definitely the roots need to start to get established. Some of these have already got the wispy roots coming through at the base. So we just clear away a little bit of the basal plate that's on them to expose the bottoms, and the roots will come through. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be getting these in the ground. We're also going to be getting the onion starts in the ground, which are over there. I'll show you in a sec. I can show you one of them now, can't I? These will be going in. And I've got 60 of them. And I've got 54 garlics. There are some spur ones over here. So I'm half tempted to make them up to the 60. In fact, shall we make them up to the 60? So we've got 60 onions and 60 garlic. These are smaller ones though, so if I put a small one with each of the batches, they'll have a little baby brother to look after. So there's 60 and 60 onions. Job's a good one. Okay. So now it's time to prepare the beds for these overwintering onions, the Senshu Japanese onions. They're a short day onion, which means they don't need a great deal of sunlight. You have short day, intermediate and long day onions, apparently. But these Senshu ones are to be grown through the winter. We started them off obviously about 6 weeks ago inside the polytunnel. You can plant them straight into the ground, the onions, but that should be done around about November time, mid-November time. So we started those off in mid-November. It's now the 28th of December. So we're going to prepare the beds for the planting up. They were started from sets, so it's Senshu onion sets that we started them from. You can track back through the previous episodes and see that. But yeah, we'll get cracking on with these beds. Okay, so the first job is the weeding. That's going to be weeded shortly. That's where the garlic's going to be going. But the onions, here's one I've prepared earlier. De-weeded and roughened up the soil a little bit. They like it quite loose, the soil, the onions. So I've roughed up the soil a little bit and de-weeded it. Got everything out. It was something like that before, but now it's like that. So I've hoed it, pricked out all the weeds, got them into there. Now all that's got a mixture of weeds and soil in it, so that's all going to be going into that composting bin. So waste not, want not. These haven't flowered, the weeds haven't flowered, so they're fine to put into the compost. Now, this bed has been roughed, as I say. I'm just going to add in some fertiliser in the way of 6X, which is concentrated farmyard manure. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to be sprinkling it on like that onto the top, and then I'm going to hoe it in. It's probably going to take about 3 handfuls. You don't need a terrible lot of fertiliser because the soil's quite rich anyway, and onions don't particularly need a lot of feed if you've got a decent soil as it stands. So that's all I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be putting that on the top and then hoeing it in a little bit so it's just below the surface. As I say, we've got rid of the weeds. So all that remains to do now is either rake it in, or, because I can't find my rake at the moment, I'm just going to lightly hoe over the top. And what that'll do is integrate it with the growing medium, with the established soil that we've already got. And then the rain will wash it in. Look at that little bugger. Look at that. A little grub. We'll deal with him later. But yeah, so that's all going to go in there, and the rain will wash the rest of it under. And job's a good one. Alright, so we've got 60 onions to plant. So we've got 5 rows of 12 which comes to 60. I've got 2 trays of small, what I call small onions, 2 trays of medium sized and a tray of large. Now, depending on who you listen to, the larger seed starts, or the small onions that you plant out, the sets, the larger ones tend to bolt quicker, which means they'll go to seed quicker. So that's why we're doing it this way. It's a bit of an experiment. So we're going to have small ones, medium ones and large ones. And that way, hopefully, we'll get some results. We'll be able to see which ones bolt quicker and which ones we get the true full-sized onions off before they bolt. So that's what we're going to do. All right, I'll see you in a minute. Yeah, so we've got 1 tray of large, 2 trays of the medium-sized and 2 trays of the small. So that's what we're going to be taking and planting. I'm going to do them in that order: small, medium, large. Let's get it on. Okay, so as you can see, at this stage of their development, doing them in the trays is what I've done this year. And you can see there for yourselves that there's a good deal of root action going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break that up slightly and get it into the hole. Like that, and then, in fact, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it that way. See how the leaf is running? I'm going to have it running at a 45-degree angle, just because I'm crazy. But then we're going to fill that around, whittle it down a little bit deeper, pack that around. You want it up to the like shoulder height, really, when you're planting these in, because you're overwintering them. So that's 1 in. Okay. And I'm going to continue on with that all the way up the line. It's a bit of a wonky line that, but I'm sure it'll do the job. I didn't use. Some people use like a straight edge and get them like perfect soldiers, but mine are more of a sort of partisan rebel group. So that's how we're going to plant them in. But yeah, 5 rows of 12 we're going to put in, going all the way. So I'll get these ones in the ground first. Those are the large ones, and then the mediums, and then the small. All right, so the onions are in. 60 little soldiers. I've tried to straighten the lines up a little bit, but they're an unruly crew. I've got to get that weeded now, levelled off. Bit more of the old 6X in, same as we've done here, and that's going to be for the garlic, so that's the next stage. But they're already in. We had a bit of a mishap, whereas I dropped one of the trays. As you can see, the stems are a little bit bent over on these ones. Those are the medium-sized ones. That one's not fired yet, but it had some decent root growth underneath, so we're hoping that will come up. But all the rest seem to be okay. So yeah, fingers crossed. Another 5 months we'll be pulling them up. These, I'm going to get them in right now. As I say, get the weeds out. It'll be another 20 minutes getting all them weeds out. Level it off. Enrich it with the 6X. And away we go. Okay. So we're planting these around about 4 or 5 inches apart and 2.5 inches deep. Now, the knuckle on my cane is 2.5 inches. I didn't cut it that way, I just measured it and it is. Just found a cane. So all I'm doing is I'm going to put the cane in the ground to the level that we want. Give it a bit of a turn around like that. Try and keep them relatively in a straight line. And just work my way along until I've got all the holes and the rows that I need. And we're going to be doing the same again, obviously, as we did on the onions, and it's going to be 5 rows of 12. So yeah, just leave me with that, and I'll get back to you. Oh, excuse me, yawning. So all we do now is we pop them in, bums down, and snouts up. In there. Those shoots will find their own way to the surface, and you want them just below the surface, about an inch below the surface, for these overwintering varieties. Like any bulb, they want to be in the ground really, and not sticking up out of it. Those shoots will come up and they'll naturally straighten themselves. They'll follow the sun, but as the sun goes over, it goes over this way, it'll tend to straighten them. If they're a little bit wonky, it doesn't matter. As long as you've got those stems coming up in about 2 months' time, you're all right. So I'll carry on with that, and we'll get them all in. So there should be a clove for every hole. Let's go around and check. Make sure we haven't missed one, because I have got an extra bulb. So either my counting was wrong, or there's a hole without a clove. But I can't see one. So my initial counting must have been wrong. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to lightly cover those over. And hopefully the roots then, over the next couple of months, will establish themselves and the shoots will come up. Again, fingers crossed, boys and girls. So again, we're just going to lightly cover them over, making sure not to break any of the shoots that are already starting to come up. Just go all the way along there. You don't want to push them too firmly in, but you don't want them too loose either, because as the roots go down, if you don't firm them in a little bit, then what happens is they start to push themselves out of the ground, which is not what you want. You don't want them pushing themselves out of the ground. You want them seating themselves under the ground. Keep an eye out for these little sods. See that? Slug egg. Crack them and dispatch them. I'm going to carry on with that. Cover them all over. I don't need to mark the rows because I'll see them as they come up. And I'll have it in my head roughly where they are anyway. But you can't mistake the shoots as they come up. So, yeah, as I say, fingers crossed. I'll carry on and complete. There they all are, covered up. No one would ever know. And there we go. 2 6x4 beds, weeded, invigorated with the 6X, and levelled and then planted with onions, sensu, and garlic, unknown, shop bought. Okay, hope you enjoyed that, boys and girls. Get them planted up. Not too late for the garlic yet. We haven't had any severe, certainly in this country, we haven't had any severe frosts as yet. The ground is still workable. But you've only got about a week or two before it is going to be a bit late for it. It's a bit late anyway, as it goes. But give it a shot. Why not? Them beds are not needed until sort of like June next year. So yeah, they're going to be quite fine and dandy in there. And it gives you something to do, doesn't it? There's plenty to do down on these plots. You're never stuck for a minute. I've got some more beds to clear. I've got that top greenhouse to clear. I've got the glass house there to clear. And just general tidying up and stuff like that. I've got some more paving slabs to put down as well over the next week or so. So yeah, I'm going to be down here more or less every day. Right, take care of yourselves and each other. I've been good and Murphinda. You've been beautiful, fantastic and flagrant. If you're a lady, you've been masculine, forthright and virile, hopefully, if you're a man. And if you've been something in between, you've been something in between. I'm good and Murphinda. If I don't see you through the week, I'll see you through the window. And I'm checking out. I'm going to go and get my dinner now. Alright. Catch you later, boys and girls. Take care. Have a good holidays. Bye-bye. Try and hide my tooth.